Is it okay for a guy to cry? I think it is okay for a guy to cry. I've cried myself while watching um, romantic movie, venture movie, where someone really important to the story dies and he's so important to everyone. I really think that it's okay for guys to cry. I've been in a movie theater with friends crying for years. I would start crying, sniffling, and I'll play it off and be like, oh, I'm not crying, or I would just try my best to not make it obvious that I am crying or I have cried. I would have tears running down my face, surrounded by my friends, and I would just sit there, just waiting for my tears to dry before looking over at them to see their response. But nowadays, I don't care at all. Nowadays, I've gotten over that. It's totally okay to cry, even as a guy, as a straight heterosexual guy. It's perfectly fine to be emotional sometimes. I mean, you're human. If you weren't supposed to cry, maybe you would be a robot or something. I I really think that crying is healthy. When I cry, I feel a lot better after. I've cried because I watched something really sad. I read something really sad. I saw a post that was really sad. Or it doesn't always have to be sad. It can be something that's really happy. I've seen the biggest men, like very muscular men, cry, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, sometimes it's really bad things happen when you watch shows or even in your own personal life. And holding it in for a long time, in my opinion, is not healthy. I mean, you feel so much better after doing it. So I think crying around friends, like when you're making some tea. Hmm, that's good. But yeah, so let's see what my notes say here. So crying does not make you any less of a man. I think that crying actually makes you more of a complete person. I I can see where that's coming from because I think that a big part of it is that when a guy cries, he might be looked upon as being weak, or I think a big part of it is when a guy cries, he's looked down on. But it really just depends with the people that you're around. I don't let it bother me at all anymore. I I think that you just need to, if your fans can't accept you for who you are, you really don't need them. There's so many people in the world. You can just find new friends, make new friends, hang out with them. That would be my advice. But just to, even though you're a man, it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. You're a man. It's not even being a man. It's being a human being. You shouldn't care what other people think when you're with your own emotions. I mean, I think there's extremes to that. If you're crying all day long and every day, all day, then there might be something wrong with you. You might want to see a doctor and get medical advice or medical help. But if it's just from a normal human response, like say it's a, a relative passed away or someone really close to you passed away, you start crying and you're a guy, that's totally fine. Or if you're you saw something that was really emotional to you, that really hit home for you, and you got some really strong feelings about that, and you started crying a little bit. That's totally fine. There's no reason that you shouldn't. There's no reason why that should bother you. Yeah. So I can see how that can be looked down upon. Like when you're even when I was in school, and I was a little kid, if if a boy would start to cry, he'll be made fun of because everyone's like, "Ha, he's crying, such a girl." But that's just kids being kids. But for me, as if you're a teenager or if you're an adult, I'm an adult, and you really shouldn't be concerned about crying around in public or around your friends or around strangers. I think it's perfectly fine to cry. So my advice is just to do it.